Man, I'm so flustered right now.
So flustered.
Yeah, and I'm sure the people are flustered too, because we haven't been doing this for dang near a month, if not longer.
It's been longer, I think.
Oh my goodness. You just keep on talking, all right?
I'll keep on talking.
Introduce the episode.
Introduce the episode?
Yeah.
Do I introduce the guest and everything?
No, just the episode that it is.
Oh, okay. This is our comeback episode. We've been gone for like over a month. And all the technical stuff is just like not
crapping out.
Yeah, it's not working with Brian.
I'm just loud. I forget, dude. It's fine. I got it more figured out. Guys, if this episode's really blurry, muffly, blame me again.
What, you were too loud or I was not loud enough?
Well, it's always both. No matter what, I'm always too loud and you're never loud enough. But that's fine.
Earlier at the house, I yelled at my mom from across from like where I live or where she lived, and I told Sarah, so that's as loud as my mom. That's as loud as I get, because my mom had to ask what I said. Like, even though I yelled, I was like,
you're like Nick when Nick's like teaching, dude. You're like, is he whispering? He's like trying to get his heart out. But anyways, sorry. We need to move on.
Okay,
this is not important. We need to get to what is important. Listen, guys, it's been a long time coming. All right, this is not our hey, we're retiring, blah blah. No, it's been a long time coming, and we continue to keep on going. Could have really chose my words worse there, so that's good. Anyways, so from the beginning, dude, from the beginning of the podcast, we've had one goal in mind, one goal, and in a way, one guest. And it was always one girl, right?
Right.
And, before anybody says anything, no, it's not Casey Musgraves. She still hasn't replied to us. Actually, we haven't talked to her. But, I'm just hoping that one day we'll run into her. But no, it is not Casey Musgraves. As a matter of fact, though this person is not as famous, this guest is muy better.
More better.
Muy better.
I agree.
Yeah. And now you're probably like, oh, why is Steven so far away from you, but he doesn't have a mask on, One that's not even 6 feet. That's probably like 5, maybe. Anyways, we have a new setup. We have new everything and a chair here for a very special guest. Guys, I'm going to introduce this guest, and then Steven will reintroduce this guest. Man, my list is bad. Anyways, okay. Without further ado, guys, I need to find the applause, and I hope I do not hit the boo or something. Okay, guys, without further ado, this is Steven's gal. See ya!
Come on in. Yep. So you want me to reintroduce her? Is that what you said?
Yeah, I want her to be able to get comfortable because I don't know how this mic was doing.
Alright, well, a few podcasts back, I did announce that I had a girlfriend. And then I've had people ask, when are you going to let Sierra on the podcast? When is Sierra on the podcast? But she's here now. And that's because she's my fiancée now.
Oh,
look at the ring, though.
It's probably like reflecting off the light bar right now.
Probably so.
And blinding everybody.
All the viewers.
But that's...
Yeah.
You can probably move the mic a little closer.
Oh, yeah. Most definitely. It's going to make some noise and rattling at first, but...
Yeah, see, I'm definitely going to be the quieter one, because both of y'all's voices carry.
Yeah. You always are, man. It's alright. What I should have done is put us on the same channel, and then you on your own. That's what I normally do. Well, technically, I'm normally on the same channel as a guest.
Yeah.
And you have the guest mic. But, yeah, anyway, so very special guest. Very excited to have you. Matter of fact, you are the second girl to ever be on the podcast if you don't count like a Christmas special.
Just her and Jesse?
Yeah. That says a lot about us.
Yep, it sure does.
So
I feel special.
Yeah, you ought to. Obviously very excited to have you, and it's gonna be a good podcast. I was supposed to come up with questions, and I did not, but I still... I'll get some out. I'll figure some out.
I'll figure it out.
Yeah. So, basically, if you want to just kind of give us a little short rundown of, who you are, what you're about.
Who is Sierra? That's the question.
Who is Sierra? Was Nacho Libre like, who is this Encarnacion? Anyway, yeah, you don't have to say your favorite color is like tan or you like volleyball or anything, but
Or puppies.
But other than that, yeah, just give us a little rundown. You know how you. We'll talk about y'all's relationship here in a second, but you can just talk to just introduce like how you came to Mineola, like what's your story as far as getting here, and how you got to know us first, and then we'll get down to the romance.
Well, I moved to Mineola in June of 2013, so I've been here a little over a year now.
Not 2013. 2023.
Dude, I was like,
It's okay.
I was like, what?
2023.
I feel like my whole life is alive. No, I was like,
Sorry.
I thought you just got here.
2013. That's the year I graduated. That goes to show how old I am. No,
We weren't supposed to ask that, but we're good.
No, but yeah. So I've been here a little over a year now, and when I first got here, I didn't know anybody at all, and I wasn't going to church, things like that, and my son begged me to start going to church.
Yeah.
And it's funny how it happened, because we went on the the Mineola Hometown Happenings page.
Oh, yeah.
And was asking, hey, are there any churches open, because it was a Wednesday night, and like no other churches were open. The only church that was open was Sand Springs. So,
Shout out.
so we're like, okay, well, we'll go there.
Yeah.
And I've loved it ever since.
Yeah.
And at first, I was a little shy getting to know everybody, but everybody up there was very friendly.
Mm-hmm.
And tried to involve me in things, and I, gradually I started going out with the group more and more often, and then Christmas time came around, and Steven had his, yearly Christmas party thing, and
It's a big fun time.
Oh yeah, it's well known around the place.
Couldn't make
sent
it.
me a private message on the group me app that we use for our college and career group, and he asked me to come to his Christmas party. I think he only talked to me for about 5 minutes in total while I was there. But
that is how you know that he had a huge crush, because anytime like any teenager in general, like when they first like talk to their girlfriend or whatever, or like when I first invited Jessie to a basketball, I didn't invite her to a basketball game because I was too nervous to invite her. But like she'll show up, I see her in the crowd, I get done with the game, I'm like say like 2 things and I'm out. But I wanted to talk longer, but I was too nervous. So I bet that's how he was. I don't know. You concur?
Well, Nick messed it up, because I was talking to her about our pops and stuff.
Yeah.
And Nick came over there and like needed me for something.
And
I was like,
you know what I know is that in that very moment you were talking about pops, it was real. It was real for a second, and then Nick got there, and then it got not real.
Yeah.
So when Nick, that's our motto here is Nick's not here, let's get real.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah. And yeah, because I remember she was telling me that she had some that she was thinking about selling and stuff. I remember the conversation.
That was how you knew, dude.
That's how I knew,
bro.
And I think I borrowed a book from you too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my Hunger Games book.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that was supposed to be like a little hint. It's like, okay, fine. I don't really know her, but I feel like if I let her borrow this book, it'll be alright. She might, because then she'll have to bring it back at some point, right?
There you go. There you
and
go.
then if she doesn't, it's like, I don't know. It wasn't one of my favorite books or anything, so.
Yeah. All I'm saying is, well, I'll get back to back to my story of y'all here in a minute later on, because I like my story. I think it's great.
Okay.
Anyways. But yeah, no, that's great. I didn't know Axel was kind of like the instigator in that.
Mm-hmm.
But man, kids are crazy. They say the darndest things, but they also can bring out the best in you too. So that's pretty great. Matter of fact, you actually live right by the pastor, right?
Yeah.
So he wasn't even the one that invited y'all. So I guess I just assumed that y'all were walking down the road one day and he was like, "Hey,
No.
come to our church, get involved, be a
Actually,
part."
the first night she came, Sadie was there, and because Kim was asking Sierra where she lived.
Yeah.
And then when Sierra was trying to explain it, Kim was like, I think it's kind of like where Sadie lives. And then Sadie was like, where? And then like they started talking like, oh yeah, we live right beside each other.
You're like corner and then another corner, like straight shot.
See, I remember details of the first night she showed up.
Ooh.
Yeah.
This guy. He was there. It was day one. Day one. So, yeah, I know we talked about it earlier, but, so you're a military kid, correct? Y'all have to move a whole lot? Like, y'all are stationed in a bunch of different places, or kind of like one main area, or?
Well, I mean, it did seem like we moved a lot, but for a military family, I guess we didn't move as much as some people did. Like, I was born in Colorado, and then while I was still a baby, we moved to San Antonio. My dad was stationed there for about 8 years.
Yeah.
But while he was stationed there, he went to Korea.
Dang.
And at the time, you know, families weren't allowed to go over to Korea.
Overseas? Oh, okay.
So we had to stay in San Antonio. And that was, like, really hard on my parents because, you know, military family. And then, like, we're also living off post, so we're having to pay rent there. And
yeah, I was about to ask if y'all had to stay on base or not.
My dad wasn't a high enough rank to live on base yet. And, like, at that time, they had rules about that. I think now, like, anybody that's in the military can be on post.
Yeah.
But at the time, he was still, like, at a certain rank where he couldn't. But while we were there, like, we lived off post for about 4 years, and then we moved on post for the last 4 years that we were there.
So it's post and base, is that the same thing, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's basically, yeah.
What branch was he?
Army.
Army? Okay. Mm-hmm. I didn't know if it was... I feel like for some reason, because every time I go to San Antonio, there's always... Voice crack. There's always a group of people in the military, but they're always Navy, I feel like. Mm-hmm. But I guess when I was younger, for some odd reason, I thought that San Antonio was way closer to the border than it is. But it is very far from the border. Yeah. Very far. But yeah, I had a cousin who was... her husband was in the Navy, but he was stationed in Corpus Christi. So, but yeah, so I knew there was a base in San Antonio, but I guess it might not even be Navy. Maybe I just thought it was the Navy people. I have no idea.
Well, there's actually a couple of bases in San Antonio. Like, there's an Air Force base there.
Okay.
And then the base that my dad was stationed at, it used to just be an Army base, but it's a joint base now. So, like, it's Marines, Army, Navy, Air Force. Okay. All of it. It's like a big, huge training spot for them.
Yeah. What was I don't know which one's your favorite base, but like out of all the places you have lived, like what would you say your favorite place was? Whether it's a state or like a town in a state.
While my dad was in the military, or just in general?
Just in general in life. I don't know if y'all moved for any other reasons or whatever. So.
I would have to say I really like Mineola.
Really?
Yeah.
I like the environment of it, and I love that. The only thing I really wish for Texas in general, because there's like 4 mountains in the whole state. Mm-hmm. But like, I love the mountains, and just like the prettier scenery. Like Colorado, I've been to once, and I love just Colorado in general as a landscape. Mm-hmm. So I think I would like to really enjoy that. And Texas is great, obviously, but I know a lot of times I know a lot of times it can get little hate for being hot. You know, it's really hot.
It is hot. And
I'm sure you probably noticed that. What's really, I mean, you said you lived in San Antonio for a while, so you're used to it.
Yeah.
Before
and then,
you moved here.
After my dad was stationed in San Antonio, he got stationed in Missouri for like the last year and a half.
I can mute you for a second.
Of his service.
Yeah. I was trying to figure out which side I needed to be on.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The one that doesn't have the wires. Here's a flashlight. I need one.
This side.
Okay. You just let me know, and I can mute myself.
Very good.
Okay. Missouri though, Missouri is really really pretty too.
It's very beautiful, but I hated every minute of living there.
Really?
Yeah.
Just for the atmosphere or the weather? Or?
I think mainly just I was there at a very vulnerable point in my life.
Yeah.
You know, I was there from 5th to 6th grade, and I was bullied a lot at
Yeah.
that time. And so it was just a very hard time in my life, I guess.
So this is kind of a really off-topic question, but because you said you went to Missouri, I assume you were public schooled. Trying to think. I mean, I would assume you probably didn't go to school with this person, but you ever see The Act? Joey King. It's a real life story of a girl. What was her
I know what you're
name?
talking about.
Yeah, I mean, she's the one that was just re-released and then got married. Now she's getting divorced and everything.
Oh, she's already getting a divorce? Dang.
Oh, yeah. They might have already finalized it.
Dang.
What is her name?
She has a really weird name. Like Baby or something, sorry.
No.
Like something strange like that, I feel like. It's not like a normal name.
But I know exactly who you're talking about.
Darcy
She
or...
killed her mom, right? She murdered her mom?
Yeah, her and her boyfriend did.
Yeah.
I say that because I'm pretty sure she went to Missouri, and Savannah Edwards, her...
Who?
Savannah Edwards?
Oh.
I thought you were going to say Cares. No, Savannah Edwards, her... Is it half-brother? Or step-brother? I think it's half-brother.
It's his half-brother.
Yeah, so her younger half-brother went to school with that same girl. Obviously, he's like, I don't know, a couple grades younger than her, but still, I thought it was interesting. So I didn't know. I don't even know what school she went to, but that'd been crazy.
Yeah. I think she's a little older than me, though.
Yeah, probably. Like I said, I think she was like, probably junior or senior when he was like in elementary school. But Savannah does this thing where she's like, she said one time that she knew Sadie Robertson. I don't know. You know who that is? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So she said she knew who she was. I was like, how? You don't know who she is? She's like, well, I know your cousin, my cousin is Julia, one of the Parkers. I know Julia, and she knows this one girl who is Sadie Robertson's cousin. So basically, I know Sadie Robertson.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, it definitely doesn't work like that. You go ask Sadie Robertson if she knows you, she ain't gonna say crap.
Yeah.
She don't know who you are. But yeah, no, I don't know. Like when it comes to Texas, man, I love Texas, but the summers are brutal. This summer been much more mild. I appreciate that. Shout out God, amen.
Yeah, the last summer sucked.
Last summer and the summer before were brutal. I remember last summer, dude. Like we were just trying to have like, I don't even think it was July 4th. I don't think it was Independence Day. I think it was even before then. We're like, hey, let's go play cornhole. Dude, we go outside to play cornhole. You're out there for like less than a second. You're already like drenched. Oh, it's terrible. But
There was a really hot day last week. I guess it was Wednesday.
yes,
Because that's when Matt...
yes. Wednesday and Thursday were bad.
Matt brought it up. You were in class Wednesday?
Yes.
Yeah, because Matt brought it up. He said that was the first day he's felt like he was back in Arizona.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
See, I feel like, and I've only been to Arizona once, and it was in November, and it was cold because it was at the Grand Canyon. But like, they say the Death Valley, that's in Nevada though, ain't it? I think. But it's pretty close to Arizona. But like, there's a town in Arizona that gets super hot, and is like always breaks record 100 and something degrees. But I feel like I still would rather that 120 degrees sun over there than 100 degrees with our humidity over here. Like straight up, like this sounds like an old person, but it's not the heat that gets you; it's the humidity. Straight up had a guy tell me that the other day. So, but yeah, I'm not here for the heat. But hey, it's about to get cold and we're about to freeze. So, oh well. But now, I'm just trying to think of any other question before I get into the how did y'all meet? So yeah, tell us your story. I feel weird because I feel like instead of interviewing one person, I feel like I'm interviewing two, which is weird because
we're about to be one, anyways.
Well, yeah, that's that too, but the fact that you're always on the show,
Yeah, I get it.
like you're the the guest star.
I'm like a half guest here.
Yeah,
Um,
it's the Gonzalez show tonight.
didn't you say like you had a story about us though or something?
Yeah.
Is that gonna be saved after ours, or are you gonna say it first?
I can go ahead and say it
Yeah.
because y'all's story starts before mine.
Okay.
But
Like-
and it's a really short story. All I know is you had been coming to church for a little bit. I think maybe you were already a member at this point, right? Because y'all, I don't know how long it was until I became members.
I think they were already members when we started. Like, after
Yeah,
I had,
that's
like,
what I thought.
talked-
So, you had been apart for a while. I think I'd gone to y'all's class a little bit, And I thought, I was like, oh, she's kind of shy or whatever. But I remember going to class, and they asked a question, and you end up answering. I was like, okay, okay. Like, she's not as shy as I thought. That's cool,
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter if you are or not. It doesn't matter. Anyways, but I was like, all right, whatever. She's like a cool person. And actually, I'm not even going to lie. I remember in the back of my head when you first came that I told Steven, hey, single girl over here. But I said that to any time I ever see anybody because I've always been trying to set them up with somebody, right? Anyways, fast forward. And me and Tom are talking on a Wednesday night. This is after Christmas, so after the Christmas party, y'all have already been talking. I didn't know this because the boy didn't tell me nothing yet. Anyways, Steven comes up, he starts talking to us, blah, blah, blah. Huh?
So I wanted to make sure before I told people.
Yeah, well, I best friend here,
I know.
I should have known that right before you sent the first message on Group Me. Yeah, I have another story. Anyways, so I remember you walking up. I guess you had I call it a door backpack. It was like the tiny backpack I guess you carried.
Yeah, the Lord of the Rings one.
Yeah, that's the only thing I remember. But you walked up, you kind of walked towards us as you were walking out. You looked at Steven and said, bye. And he's like, bye, And then
I don't think it was that awkward.
No, dude, it was. And we're talking, and we kept on talking. I said, hold up. I said, what the heck was that? You're like, nothing. I'm like, no. I said, that was not a no hi. Because I know Steven and he ain't never done that.
And then I said, you want to go eat?
Yeah, pretty much right after. Because you're like, that's nothing. And then we went to go eat. And it was just me, Steven, and Jesse. And I think I was going to get a drink. We were at Taco Bell, I think. And I was coming back, and I remember you hearing, yeah, I think Ryan's on my case. And then you end up spilling the beans. I said, okay, all right, all right. I was excited. Just, I know you feel special, but you ought to feel special. Because this guy, he is not one to make a move. But he did.
He did.
So here's my question.
Okay.
Once I started talking, hey, I like your hair. It's really curly, blonde,
Oh, and she told me she liked my hair until after we were dating.
Okay. Like your face, whatever. Every day, trying to flirt, whatnot. Who made the real first move as far as, hey, you want to go get dinner? Dang, y'all been dating for 4 months.
This is tricky because I asked her if she wanted to go eat. So, that was me. Mm-hmm. Before that, though...
But it wasn't let's go eat on a date. But you're this is kind of I'm trying to imply.
Yeah, because that came up, too. Because, literally, the night before we went, she texted me, she's like, hey, I like you, by the way. And I was like, yeah, I like you, too. I thought that was implied,
Pause, but that's the most awkwardest conversation. Everybody has it. When you first tell them, hey, I think you're cute, or I like you, or whatever. It's always so awkward. It's so great to be past that stage.
Well, I also I like to be direct because I've been on dates where they just want to go on a date and they don't want a relationship or anything.
Yeah, the real commitment to it and stuff.
Right. So I just always hey, I'm just letting you know this is where I stand.
Yeah. Which is a good thing.
Man, if you start dating after the age of 20 in general, once you hit 20, that needs to be the first conversation. Listen, this is where I am. Because I always believe you should date to marry in general. Even when I was in high school, I always believed that. And, hey, did. But once you're 20, hey, you're not old at all. You're still really young. But it's also hey, I'm ready to start doing getting on in my life and finding the one. So, yeah. But you also shouldn't date to when you're dating to marry. You shouldn't date and be all right, now that I've gone on one date with this person, I have to marry them.
Yeah, I feel that comes from more of a I don't know if it's a Christian background, but more of I don't know, because I feel that's just not culture though. No, I don't think culture you're not taught to date to marry. So being 20, you're still young, you're saying, you're still partying and everything.
Mm-hmm. Especially if you're in college and stuff like that.
So yeah, I feel it really depends on how you're raised, if you think that way or not.
Mm-hmm. And really, when you're dating from marriage, before you even do ask that girl out or whatever, like normally in your back of your head, you probably already know. Like you're already like, this is like, you're not gonna say like this is the one, but like this is a pretty good chance. Or because if it wasn't,
prospect.
Yeah, a very high prospect.
I don't know. After the first date, I told my mom, I'm gonna marry this guy.
I don't know if Steven said that or not, but I'm pretty dang sure he thought it. I'm pretty sure he knew pretty early on, just from knowing how this guy is.
Yeah, I did. Anyways, what was the question? Okay. Anyways, I said like I sent that text, but also like she had invited me over to play cards before that.
Mm.
But also I had invited her to the Christmas party before that, and I had invited her to go eat with us after church by like running out to her car and inviting her. So
didn't I make you do that?
No, Kathleen made me do that. I think.
I thought I was a part of it.
You might have been there.
Cause you were like, was it because they parked on the right side of the church back then?
Right.
Cause you were like, oh man, I was gonna invite her, but like, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't. I said, invite her. I said, go, run.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean that definitely happened.
Either way, someone made you.
Yeah.
But it was your idea.
Anyways, so yeah. So
I don't count that as.
Huh?
I don't count that. Okay, go ahead. I'll say I don't count that as your like first move. It's just like, trying to get to know you. But like, who was like, hey, me, you, let's hang out.
I guess. I mean.
It was you first.
Yeah, I mean,
you asked me to dinner first, and then like that night, I was like, hey, you should come over and play cards.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So we had already had a date planned before I came over to play cards?
I believe so.
Was that Olive Garden? Was that date?
No, it was Kawa's.
Yeah. Okay.
No, Olive Garden was the proposal.
I thought y'all went to Olive Garden too, like one of your first dates or something.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. That's another thing, because like I'm sure you know this too now. But I remember when y'all were supposed to go to Kawa's, and he was like freaking out, super nervous. He's like, I'm going to throw up, dude. Like he really he felt like throwing up. I don't know if you ever did or not.
Okay, first off, I was already nervous, and the first thing she makes me eat is squid, though. Like,
yeah, I was that part.
I like barely ate my chicken and rice. Like, oh my goodness, I was already nervous enough. I took like one bite of that squid and was like,
why didn't you tell me that?
He was too nervous.
He's too nervous.
But you're probably like, oh man, this guy doesn't eat a lot. But now you're like, okay, he really doesn't eat a lot.
Yeah, it's like my first, like, I don't know, like my first like official date. I was freaking out.
Yeah. Also, man, like first dates, trying new foods is kind of like, oof, that's tough.
Yeah.
Like I feel like sushi is probably out.
Oh, I didn't eat the sushi.
Yeah. Which I guess you said you did. You got sushi. But yeah. Yeah, you should have picked something better for him. Hey, it worked out though.
I asked what she wanted to go eat though.
Hey, respect though.
That's right.
Respect. That's good, man.
Anyways, so you want like the story? Because I feel like we're going backwards.
Yeah, I know it. Yeah, you do you, man.
Me do me?
Yeah, I'm a sucker for stories.
You're a sucker for stories. You want to tell? I mean, you're the guest. No?
I mean, okay, so whenever I first started coming to church there, I remember you being in class and thinking, oh, he's kind of cute. And then...
It was a jawline.
Like, well,
I don't know, get the show my Joe on more facial hair.
Yeah.
Actually, it was his hair that, like, really drew my attention to him because he had, long curly hair.
Said poof.
Yeah.
Fun fact, he had probably just started doing his hair routine,
What?
Yeah, you started going through the hair school.
It was a little bit earlier.
His hair used to be just long, but now it's like long and luscious.
I was already doing it at the last youth camp though, because I can remember like being up there and not having my products. I'm like, oh my gosh, my hair.
Goodness.
Anyway, sorry. So you saw his hair.
Yes, his hair.
You say, "Who is this chick?" And then you turn around and say, "Oh, okay."
I did not.
Boom, roasted.
No, just I don't know, I was a little intimidated, I guess, because I didn't know anybody there, so
Yeah.
I just kind of kept to myself. And like I would go out to eat with the group every once in a while, and he would be there, but we never really talked to each other. And then, you know, the Christmas party thing came up, and he, you know, sent me that private message and was like, "You should come to my Christmas party," and sent me the address. I'm like, "Okay, cool, I'll be there." And I was like, okay, maybe he thinks I'm cute. I don't know, because I felt like a lot of people there thought I looked really weird whenever I first started going there.
People are very judgmental, no matter where you go, in church. But
Because
I'll just say it's a little hot topic. That's what.
Yeah. And then, anyways, so he talked to me a little bit at the party. And then, I think, like, a week after that, they mentioned something about going up to the camp and helping clean up and stuff. Getting it ready.
Mm-hmm.
And I said I would go up there and help. And then he raised his hand and said he would go up there and help. So he sent me messages on, like, through Facebook.
Yeah.
On Messenger. And was, you know, just asking me about like the music I listen to and stuff like that. So it started with music. And
Because we had that drive up to Arkansas. You know, it's like, some new music wouldn't hurt. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe you could just be able to sit beside her and like have the whole headphones in. You can't really do that no more. It's all Bluetooth now.
Yeah. That was the plan, though.
But
I'm trying to sit beside her on the
that
6-hour ride to Arkansas.
that ended up not happening. But we
Yeah,
still like. Sorry.
No, you're good.
We still
Messaged.
continued to text each other, or we'll message each other on
Whatever.
Messenger, and then like he was just like, "You might as well just start texting me. Here's my number." And I'm like, okay. So we just started texting, and then around that time, it was like towards the end of January, he was like, "Would you want to go get dinner with me sometime?" And I'm just like,
It was on a Tuesday night.
Yeah.
Because I remember, like, I was at Domino's picking up the pizza for the bonfire. Because she, like, I don't know what it was she said. I'm like, oh, it set me up so well. I'm like, I'm just going to ask. Because I wanted to ask in person. But I was like, it just, like, set me up. Because I remember, like, going to the bonfire and, like, telling y'all. I remember I told you and Creighton that night, at least. I said, bro, I got a date.
Oh, crazy.
Creighton said, bro, let's go, bro.
Sounded like him. So, if you got invited to Steven's Christmas party, but he didn't invite you, say, I mean, like, you know, you were invited, but say, like, you were just invited
By, like, Samantha or something.
Samantha, or like Matt's like, "Hey, Steven's having a Christmas party at his house. Everybody's welcome to come." Do you think you would have gone? Or do you think it was the personal invitation from the guy that you were like, "Hey, this guy's kind of cute"?
I probably would have gone, because I didn't have anything else to do at the
Yeah.
time. But I think like him actually reaching out to me is what really like
Drove you, I guess.
piqued my
Yeah.
interest into
Okay.
going and like possibly pursuing something with him. But whether it was friendship or, you know, maybe a relationship later on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just
And I'm sure that
Wanted the chance
you've
to
gotten a
talk
lot
to
of great friends from the church as well in general.
mhm.
But yeah, what was your going ahead? Yeah, go
I was
ahead.
gonna say, let me catch my side of the story up. to,
Yeah,
like, this part
yeah.
right
No,
here.
you do that, dude.
So, when she came to church that first night, for some reason, I was riding with my parents. I don't know if my car was in the shop or what it was, but on that night, on the ride home, my mom asked me, she's like, "So what about the new girl that was in your class tonight?" Like, that's kind of like y'all, everyone, like you said, everyone always does.
Yeah.
And I was like, "No, mom." She, I said something like, she like already has a son or something like that.
Yeah.
And like I felt like a gut punch, like in my stomach, like low key, high key actually. I was like, oh, and I like apologized to my mom right off the bat, and I was like, I'm sorry, that was rude, like it's not fair.
And shallow.
And shallow. And my mom was like, yeah, it kind of was, or whatever. And I was like, it's whatever. And then like ever since that, like I would watch her like in class, And that's what it was. It's kind of like what you, it's complete stalker mode, bro. No, it's kind of like what you said too. Like when you were in class, you saw that she like answered questions.
Yeah.
And she wasn't afraid to talk, and you could tell that she was always like trying to learn, and that was what was like super attractive to me.
Yeah.
And then, yeah.
He likes me for my brain.
Yeah.
It's just super smart.
So then, yeah, we did all the texting and all that leading up to the date.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there was something I was going to say in there. Oh, well, yeah, there was one night, because we went to a Dairy Queen as a class afterwards on our, like, second Wednesday thing. And we had already, like, been texting, like, a little bit. And she was in front of me in line. And they went and they sat down at... Y'all sat, like, not with the class, though. Y'all sat over here. And
Her and Axel?
Mm-hmm. And I was like, this is it. You know, like, now I want to sit there and talk to her. It's going to be, like, super obvious because the rest of the class is over there. But I still did. I walked over and said, can I sit with y'all? And you said yes.
Mm-hmm.
And then you introduced me to Axel.
She found that very attractive. She found that very attractive.
Maybe. And then, like, right after that, I remember, like, made, like, eye contact with Matt. And Matt was like, come over here, man. We got seats over here. And then, like, Sierra had to sit over here. And then I had to, like, sit over here. And I was like, Matt.
I had a good thing going.
Yeah. And then that night, she'd also, like, gave me, like, a ghost face, like, figure.
Mm-hmm.
Which I still have.
Yeah.
And it's not going anywhere. But it's like, and like, I don't know. She might like me. She's giving me something. That's what I was thinking.
Probably what she thought when you gave her a book.
Maybe.
To borrow, but you know.
I do like books.
Who says to borrow? Now it's going to be hers. What is yours is hers. And what is hers is hers.
Right. Anyways, so yeah, then we started dating.
Yeah.
And then the rest is
history.
Yep.
And the rest is the future. What was your first impression of his house, you think?
Of my house?
Of his house?
Yeah, well, because I feel... Okay, here's what I like about y'all. Okay? Here's what I like.
About us?
Yes. You're both, normal people. I wanted to say that first, before I say this. We also both nerds, which is great. So I had to say normal first.
Right.
But what is interesting is I feel like there are two different types of nerds. But I do feel like there is a lot that is the same. So like y'all can have the same interests, books. And it may not be the same type of books, but still books. I'm sure you thought, I don't know if you had Pops, but I guess you had one if you gave him a ghost face. So things like that. So like I just feel like you walking into his house, like I'm just saying, this is what I would think your first impression would be like, hey, you're cool.
What a loser.
No. Like I feel like she was probably intrigued.
I hope he doesn't see my Lord of the Rings pops. All my Lord of the Rings stuff that I have. No, I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I did.
You should have gone to their bachelor pad on the BBS dub.
No, she still needs to go check it out.
She hasn't been there yet?
There hasn't been a party or everything over there.
It's a magical place, but it's not.
You have to make it magical.
Like you really do. Like what was cool was because especially when y'all first moved in there and you really weren't even living there yet, but Nick was there and Kelly. But like we would just like go over there and it's one of those places where you just show up. Uninvited, you don't have to knock, you just like if you're sitting there, like in their chair or whatever, watching a movie with them and you are invited and then you hear the laundry room door open or whatever, you're always like, hey, who's here?
Yeah. Yeah, for
because everybody, all the people that live there are already there. So like some random person shows up, which we always know who it is. It's like, hey, but it was always cool because it was literally like a bachelor pad, and just you were always invited. You always go over there, always hang out, and it was just a good time. So that's what made it magical.
Like, people would just show up, and it's like, okay,
home is where the heart is.
Yeah, very, very, very much so. Like especially like I feel like it was like especially when I don't know, like around when Savannah was graduating. I feel like Emma and Savannah were there all the time.
Yeah. The 2019, 2020, I think 2019 was kind of my favorite time in for that place and stuff. We'd literally just go over there, pop fireworks there, do whatever. It was cool.
And even Tom was there a lot. And Tom still brings it up. Tom's like, man, we gotta go back over there. He told me the next party I throw needs to be back over there. He said it feels more homey. than my building.
Next party?
Yeah, I said, but it's so much more like smaller.
Dude, when we're trying to be taking like the Halloween picture and stuff,
Oh yeah, it's hard.
always so crowded, and like, and it was cool too, like having parties there because it was really crowded. But like, we make somehow the living room got bigger. I don't know how. And
yeah,
then
just get the furniture out.
yeah, and then like halfway through, you get bored and you go to the kitchen. There's like a couple people over there, and that's where we have like the real conversations with a couple people and stuff.
The real conversations are usually having in the backyard around the fire.
Oh, that's true. That's true too. Just somewhere outside, but yeah, normally in the kitchen. This is where someone's normally chilling.
Yeah. And sometimes you have to check your bedroom. Hey, out of here! No, I'm joking. Nothing like that ever happened.
It wasn't that kind of bad for bad. But yeah, so no, I miss that. But I'm very glad that you have parties at your shop now. Although
Not since the Christmas party.
And I didn't even get invited to that, so
Well, you shouldn't have done what you did.
Go to Iceland. I was invited to it.
Weren't y'all in Iceland at the time?
Yeah. It was a great time. It's a great time. So, while we were having our magical moment, I had no idea that y'all were too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Had no idea what the new year had in store. And it is crazy, honestly. Like, straight up, it's one of those things, like, if you looked at the beginning of the year in my life or in y'all's lives as well, like, I would never be like, oh, yeah, we're going to have a kid at the end of the year. And you'd never be like, dude, I'm getting married at the end of the year. Like, it would be weird. Like, they had the movies where, like, your future self talks to you and you're like, nah. Or, like, any pastor, they're always like, hey, if you would have told me 25 years ago that I was going to be a pastor, I said, no way. I can't even speak in front of nobody.
Yeah.
But then it happened, so. But it is weird. Like, and, next year, at the beginning of the year, be like, hey, something crazy going to happen. We don't know what it is, so. But,
yeah, if you would have told me this time last year that I was getting married,
laugh in my face.
Yeah, I wouldn't have believed you.
Yeah.
Because, like, I'm turning 29 in less than a month.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm about to, I'm going to be in my 30s soon.
Yeah.
And I kind of had lost hope in it, I guess.
Yeah.
And I met him.
Straight up, dude, when you lose hope, because that's literally our story with having a kid is, we were basically told, hey, y'all can't. And we both gave up hope at the same time. Like, within weeks of finding out we were pregnant. Like, we didn't even tell each other. We were just like, all right, it's whatever. It's probably not going to happen. We're just going to get her through school, and then we'd probably just go adopt or something. And then, we find out we're pregnant. We're like, what? Like, we literally just, there's no hope. Don't think it's going to happen. But, you make your plans and hit God laughing.
That's what they say.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was in where I was like, not like I had given up, but I had decided like I didn't want a relationship.
And I remember you telling me that, dude. I remember us having a conversation. We were like, I don't think I really want a relationship, and it honestly bummed me out.
Yeah, I know.
But I also, to me, I had to come with the grips of like, because I did. I wanted you to have a girlfriend or whatever, but it's more for selfish reasons, just so like we can all like hang out and stuff. But obviously, I still wanted you to be happy, but. It sucked when you said that because okay, but I also had to realize, because I feel like I'm always like, hey, there's a girl, you need to go after her or whatever. But like, who am I to run your life or tell you who or this or that? And that's with, I have a family member I'm not gonna speak of, but people are really pressuring that person on stuff, and I try not to. I try not to pressure on that because I'm like, listen, God has a plan. God's going to do it how he wants to do it. And when it's time, it'll be time.
Right.
Amen.
Yeah.
So.
Anyways, yeah, I was at that point, and I remember having lunch with Creighton. I might have already told you this too. And I told him that. He sat back, and he looked at me, and his eyes watered a little bit. And he looked at me, he said, bro, that breaks my heart for you. That's what he told me. Like I still remember it, because of that. And he's like, you don't understand. He's like what it's like. It's kind of like you were saying. He's like it's like having a built-in best friend.
Yeah.
For life. He's like, there's no way I can like tell you like how it feels. But he's like, but you're missing out. Is what he told me. And like that stuck with me forever. Like that breaks my heart for you. Like, I still like.
And dude, that's true. And like, dating is great, and it is like that. And what was really discouraging when right before I got married was a lot of people I worked with were very negative about it. Like, oh, now here goes the rest of your life, blah, blah, blah. Like, super negative things. I'm like, oh, whatever, you know. It's why. But in a marriage, you're going to have your ups and downs. But honestly, dude, like, being married compared to dating is so much different. Like, it's so much better. It is so much better. Just as far as the friendship goes.
Yeah.
And, you know, getting closer to that person. And you relearn that person. I mean, I know you've heard that before.
Yeah.
Where, you know, marriage is a totally different thing, and you have to relearn that person. And it's totally true, but at the same time, it's great. Because, you know, you just get closer and closer.
But it's work, right? You know what I'm saying? But it's work. That's what I want
But
to
it's
say.
work. But it has a good payoff. So, and that I am, like, you know, ecstatic for the both of y'all, because y'all are going to be able to experience that. And, you know, next year this time, you know, you'll be able to look back and be like, hey, Brian was right for once in his life. He was right.
Yeah.
So, which, and we can talk about this later, but I did have this idea for the Christmas podcast, depending on how I can set it up. But it's like, dude, what's more wholesome and more family-like than the Christmas podcast? Me and Jesse, you and Sierra, because we will all be married at that point.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, I was like, hey, you know, we may talk about it later. We'll see.
I told her, like, once we get married, like, we'll have to, like, do an episode where it's just her and Jesse. And it could still be called Gonzalez and Galyean.
Yeah,
Just
I think it'd be funny.
Just let them talk for, like, an hour.
Imagine someone just, like, watching our podcast and, like, they hit the new one, like, oh, bro, you know, really excited. Thumbnail's still me and you or whatever. And then it just, like, pops up and they just, like, don't say anything for the first minute. And then just start talking. That'd be hilarious.
And we can even just swap it out sometime. Just, like, you and her. You're not going to talk bad about me if y'all need to.
I normally do already.
Did I not?
It was. I'll let you check it out.
You want me to check it out?
Yeah, I'll put you on mute. Sierra, tell me your funniest story you've ever heard in your life.
The funniest story?
I'm really just putting you on the spot.
You are.
You don't actually have to. I was just trying to make it easier for Steven to figure out what's going on. Which, I'm sure...
Axel.
Yeah, he might need some. Which is fine, because pretty much at a 50-minute mark, so which is normally around when we start kind of wrapping it up.
Yeah.
Is there... I'll let Steven get his headphones back on. Was there anything else you wanted to mention or say?
Anything else I wanted to mention or say?
Yeah. Well, I was saying we're about 50 minutes, and I about run out of my main questions.
Sorry. What was
Gosh,
I
dang.
am super excited to be married. I'm ready to get the wedding over with.
Yeah.
Same.
It's a stressful time.
It is, actually. But, yeah.
Again, the payoff. It's work. It's work.
Yeah. But I'm excited. I'm very excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited about our honeymoon for sure.
Yeah, we're gonna go to Hot Springs. I think we changed our mind. From
I was
Fredericksburg
about to
Hot
ask y'all, hey, what are you going to do? Y'all literally told me last night.
Springs. We did?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah, at DQ.
Yeah, I think we did.
Oh yeah.
I said, I'm like, might go to Magic Springs. And then there's a bunch of stuff to do in Hot
There's a lot of
Springs.
things to do in Hot Springs, yeah.
Unless you go with your parents. Then it's so boring. Like, you
And
can
so,
literally
yeah.
do the same thing that you do with your parents, just y'all two, and y'all will have a blast because you get to go at your own pace. But if you go with your parents, dude, like, they go to all the museums and stuff, and they just, like, it's the same thing, but they just keep on looking at it. I'm like, it ain't gonna move. It's still there.
It might if you wait till nighttime.
Yeah.
You know.
There is a
Yeah,
magic show.
Do you have the tablet of Aquaman Raw or whatever it was? Things
That night museum.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It was so they have a magic show in whatever his name is, like Blade something. I don't know what his name is, something like that. Anyways,
Blade.
he is supposedly a Christian. I think he was. I don't know. Anyways, he had this one part in the show where he's like, "Hey, I need a volunteer, a young kid or something." So a kid, you know, everybody's like, "Hey." Kid comes out there. It's like, "All right, put your head here," and it's one of those, you know,
Guillotines.
Yeah, that thing. Chops off your head and stuff. He's like, alright, put your head here. And dude, it looked real. Alright, it looked dead real. Matter of fact, he put like a watermelon or something. I don't know what he put. Something over there and dropped it and to cut it. Right before the kid went on there. Kid's freaking out. He doesn't know what to do. He's looking at his parents like, do I do this? Is it okay? Blah, blah. Finally, his parents like, yeah. All I'm saying is, if I was a parent, I think I still would have said no. Because I was like, this looks pretty real. I don't know what's going on. Anyways, he puts the kid's head there, drops the thing, and the terror on the kid's face, man. But then, I don't know how they did it. Magic didn't chop the kid's head off. He was all good. But that was pretty stressful. It was like towards the end of the show, too. It was like, he's going to try to get away with this, and he's going to run. He's going to get out of here. Some Christian he is.
And I'm gone.
Oh, it would have been terrible. Yeah. But, so yeah, it's a magic show. Hopefully I didn't ruin the whole thing. It was good, though. It was like magic and a little bit of comedy. So,
oh, yeah.
But there's, like I said, there's plenty of things to do in Hot Springs. And Magic Springs is fun, too. But, yeah.
Heck yeah.
Anyways, next time we get this all on the podcast, it'll be different. We explained earlier that when we end the podcast, we like to say our last name. I don't know why. So it would be Gonzalez. Well, it's normally the guest first, right?
Yeah.
So this will be your only chance to say your maiden name
on the podcast.
On the podcast.
Yep.
So you will say it, but next time or any other time you're ever on the podcast, just know it ain't gonna be the same. It's gonna be better. It's gonna be better. But anyway, so that's how we end it. So I will let you begin with your last name, and then we'll hit it with a theme. If I can reach over here. Ready?
Strickland.
Gonzalez
Galyean.
out.